Hey y'all, welcome back. Hope everybody's doing well. This is Trey, TreyMixes.com, and we're back with mixing from scratch. And we're moving along. We're going to get to vocals today, but first, quick housekeeping. Thanks to everybody who's been subscribing, viewing, commenting. It means the world to me. Keeps everybody going on this and helps me keep being motivated to share and help everybody improve. So thanks a lot. Head over to TreyMixes.com. Get your free saturation cheat sheet with some tips on how to improve your mixing with saturation. And without further ado, let's get rolling. So we're talking about vocals today. Now we've got our music mix set up. And so let's dive right into this. Have a quick listen at where we're at. I've picked out a section here that's got some verse and chorus parts in it. And we just want to be going for a really straight, aggressive rock vocal. And nothing too fancy, full of crazy effects or anything. But today we'll get the foundation on this and attack issues as they come up, and talk about how we get this vocal sounding pretty awesome. So let's have a quick listen kind of where we're at. Alright, we're just going to do lead vocal work today. I like to try to get it set and sounding great before we do background vocals. Everyone's kind of different. There's no hard and fast rules to all this. This is just how I like to attack it and bring background vocals in to support the vocal after I'm real happy with how it's sounding. So, first things first, after listening, we're going to drop our stock EQ in here, and you're going to see this pretty consistently on everything I do. We're going to be filtering out garbage we don't need first. So let's go have a listen. So there's a good example right there. You can see, again, let's play and be looking down here in the lower register of the EQ, where you're going to see some air puffs and some room noise pop in, and it's going to pick it up, and we don't need that or any unused frequencies taking up space in our mix. So go ahead and get all that out of there, because those puffs can get in the way of our low end and can sometimes be detected. And when we start compressing, we're going to start maybe bringing some of that out, and we don't want it. So let's get that out of there. Another thing to address real quick. There's no hard and fast rule for me on whether I EQ or compress first. It's really about what I'm hearing. If there's not stuff that I want to get rid of before I compress, then we can sometimes go right to compression. But I hear some mid-range stuff going on here that I want to work on first before we get to compressing and getting our really, really fantastic vocal tone out of this performance. So let's get back into it and fix some of these problem frequencies. I'm hearing some stuff in the low mids. It's kind of muddying her up a little bit. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, you could hopefully hear the honkiness that's going on in her voice in the 500 to 700 range. And I settled at 680, but it was in kind of this area, so I'm going to make a wider Q on my EQ to kind of pull out more than just that one little offensive area, and try to make it have a smoother sound. Not dramatic. You don't want to pull too much of this out because you don't want her to lose any warmth out of her voice. But we want to get some of that mud out of there because that can cause a lot of, first of all, it doesn't sound good, but can cause other buildup in other instruments. And so let's go ahead and make the vocals sound good by getting rid of that garbage. Let's see what else we can do.
Moving on, just one lies ahead, only one way to find out. Must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing, follow my plan instead. Trusting in what you can see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me.
Okay, that's a pretty good spot to want to emphasize, because it really kind of brought out some diction and power right there. So let's give a little bit of bump to the high mids up here at 2 to 4 and see again how this sounds.
Moving on, just one lies ahead, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me. Set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Prove it to you. Moving on, just one lies ahead, only one way to find out.
Yeah, it brings a little bit more presence in there. I like to add a high shelf way up here sometimes to get some air and some sheen in that vocal. So let's see if we can brighten it up just a little bit without being obnoxious.
Moving on, just one lies ahead, only one way to find out. Must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing, follow my plan instead. Trusting in what you can see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me. Set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Prove it to you. Moving on. Guess one lies ahead. Only one way to find out.
Okay, that's pretty good. It just kind of opens it up a little bit. It's very subtle, but a little bit of air up top really kind of just brings some life and a little bit of excitement to it.
Moving on, guess one lies ahead, only one way to find out. Must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing, follow my plan instead. Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me. Set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Prove it to you.
Okay, I just moved those EQ points around a little bit because it was still a little nasally and a little harsh, but I think that's an improvement. So, one more time, let's check it in the mix.
Moving on, just one lies ahead, only one way to find out. Must keep on moving ahead. No time for guessing, follow my plan instead.
Let's focus on the chorus.
I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me.
Yep, it's real subtle, but it cleans it up a little bit and helps it pop out. Now, let's get to compressing this guy. Compressing vocals is I just love it, and it is absolutely the way to go to really get these awesome tones. So many vocals, pop vocals, are just compressed, and it's just part of the sound these days. So let's get with it. We're going to go to this vintage FET circuit on this default compressor, turn off the auto gain, and we'll leave it for an auto release for the moment. I'm using this circuitry because this is a model on a Blue 1176. It's best I'm aware, and that is just an amazing compressor. I love to hit vocals pretty hard. Let's open our attack up a little bit just to see what we get. And I'm going to do a 4-to-1 ratio, and we're going to start cranking on this vocal and see what it sounds like when we bring in this compression.
Follow me,
we get into that, real quick, let's have a look at this vocal track. Just visually, let's just check it out. And I want to try to, this is a poor man's automation. Let's take some of these smaller areas. We're going to bump them up just a little bit. Bump our gain up on some of these smaller sections, so that we're hitting our compressor very evenly. Here, we'll turn this one down a little bit. And when you're hitting a compressor more evenly, it does not sound as obvious, and you can get a more consistent sound from your compressor, which is what we're wanting, is to have a smooth but aggressive sound. And sometimes when you got short or smaller gain levels than other areas, it will cause the compressor to not work very smoothly or evenly. So let's even that out. Another way to do that is to automate the vocals word for word. But I think that this is a consistent enough performance that isn't technically warranted. We can get away with clip gaining here. Real pro level, you're going to want to automate. And so if we can't get this to smooth out the way I want it to, then we will go to that. But as it is tedious work and we can do it this way, and I'll admit to being slightly lazy in this regard, then we're going to stick with compression. And if it doesn't sound good, then we'll go automate. All right, let's try again.
Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through, prove it to you. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me.
Okay, awesome. That's the first step of my serial compression. I use 2, sometimes 3 or more compressors on a vocal to really smooth it out in this way. And I like to use this FET circuitry first because it's fairly aggressive. So I'll turn this off and on again. We added back a lot of the gain that we're knocking around. We're knocking off about 5 dB, so I put 4 back on, and then I'm checking my in and out levels to make sure they're the same, so that I'm looking at this consistent volume level, and then you can listen to the sound of compression without being fooled by the volume.
Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city.
Excellent. All right, now with that compression came the issue of the S's are now popping out real hard. So I'm going to go grab this free dynamic EQ. This is TDR Nova. Please go get this. It's a huge part of me doing my vocals, and it's just an awesome plugin. The dynamic EQ works kind of like a compressor, kind of like a multi-band compressor, and it turns down certain frequencies that get too loud. It just works like an EQ. So there's a couple of places here where the S's are an issue. Let's go ahead and pull up a de-esser setting. I'm going to get my Q a lot lower here. My ratio smidge. Okay, so we're just going to have this compressor or dynamic EQ work just on the S's to get them out of there so it's not so harsh.
Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through, prove it to you. Follow me, set me free.
Okay, that's a great one. Let's just listen to this.
Follow me, set me. Follow
Okay, that's helping a little bit. Not super harsh. And we'll go back to it. So, in my serial compressor chain, let's grab another compressor. We're going to use the dynamic compressor, and I'm going to switch it to Opto this time, which is like a LA3A. And this is a very classic vocal chain. Putting these guys back to back like this. And we may have to do some more de-essing. No big deal. I like doing everything in serial on vocals anyway, as that is a good way to make sure that you're not too fake, overproduced, etc. It actually sounds smooth and even. So let's go ahead and start listening. I'm going with 3 to 1, a little bit smoother. I'm going to open the attack a little bit because these Optos tend to be a little bit of a smoother compressor than the hard-hitting FETs. So let's try this. After I set my region back up.
Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through, prove it.
Oh, that's killing me. Let's see here.
We will escape from the city. We will
Right here. There is a frequency that is just getting my goat.
city. I'll make it through, prove
So heads up, this is going to get annoying, but this is full disclosure. This is how we're doing things. Let's find this ringing frequency and get rid of it.
city. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it city. I'll make it through, prove it. City. I'll make it through, prove
Oh, it's so much better. Okay. Yeah, notch filters are great for that. I know we talked about that in a previous video, but let's hear what this guy sounds like.
city. I'll make it through, prove it. City.
It's it's just so bad at that part. And we're not losing a whole lot to get rid of it in this range.
City. I'll make it through, prove it. City.
We'll turn down some of the other highs. That'll help out too. Okay, now back to compressing.
I'll make it through. Follow me. Set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through, prove it to you. Follow me.
And let's try over here too.
No time for guessing. Follow my plan instead. Find the next stage no matter what that may be. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free.
All right, sounded pretty good. On these stock Logic compressors, they have this distortion, and sometimes adding this in sounds pretty good. So let's give that a shot.
No time for guessing. Follow my plan instead. Find the next stage no matter what that may be. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. No time for guessing. Follow my plan instead.
Now, of course, adding in distortion will sometimes make things a lot louder, but it gives a certain life and a brightness to it, and it'll save me the memory and CPU power of using a saturation plug-in later. So let's see again if this extra compression really helps even us out here.
No time for guessing. Follow my plan instead. Find the next stage no matter what that may be. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me.
Yeah, it pops out. It gets more in your face, and I like it. All right. So, but I hear some more harshness happening, and there's a bunch of ways you can handle this, but I love doing this stuff in serial, a little bit here, a little bit there, and going to pick a dynamic. We're just going to pick a 4-band setting here, and watch what I do with each of these to help balance out our frequencies. It's just amazing for this. So if it gets to low MIDI only in one part, if just whoa comes through in one area, we don't have to put up with that. You don't have to go in and automate your EQ, which you can. This is just so much easier. And again, this is free.
No time for guessing, follow my plan instead.
So the best thing I can start to do is I'm going to adjust down the threshold on each of these. Those guitar delays are so cool. All right, go pull down on each one of these and see when a frequency gets out of control. If it's just touching it the whole time, that's fine. It's just kind of knocking it down, making it even. But you will see if one gets out of control how it really forces the compressor to work.
Need, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape. Need, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will.
Okay, let's go back over here.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through.
It's great. Great. But I am going to absolutely get rid of this bump that we added. It's just keep coming through as a little harsh. And I will do something else about this shelf too. Let's just let this EQ work on getting rid of things we don't like. And then we'll see how it affects our dynamic E EQ.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city.
Oh, so much smoother. See, there's nothing wrong with doing something, and if it doesn't work out and you don't like it, that's fine. Move on. Do another thing. Try it. Come back. I like that a lot better. Also, you'll note I'm going pretty quick here. I'm doing things I like. If I don't like it, I change it. And if there's something else I think I need, I just go on and do it. You trust your gut. Trust your ears. It's going to help you out a lot in doing these mixes and working on your music like this. Okay, let's just see if another compressor will do us some good. Let's do this. Let's see. Let's get the good old Scarlett VCA out, and this is based on another classic compressor, and I'm just going to keep it real smooth. I'm going to turn off our auto gain, keep our distortion off, and see. We'll open our attack a little bit. But having, actually, no, we might get on this a little quicker. Let's just see, because sometimes having different settings on each compressor helps you get a smoother sound the whole way through. So let's give it a shot just to see what happens.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me, and we will escape from the city. I'll make.
Yeah, see, you almost can't go wrong. Now, there's such thing as overcompression when it's taking away all the dynamics and when it's just pounding and it's clipping too hard and it's distorting your vocals if that's not the sound you want to go for, then you can overcompress it. But when you divide your compression up this way, and I have other videos, you should see a card for a video on serial compression at the top right of your screen. why don't you can click and watch that too, where it's just a discussion on another set of vocals and another song, another scenario, just on how attacking your vocals with compression in series like this with multiple compressors with different settings, it does just wonders for your tone. Now, our tone should be, or our volume should be very similar all the way across this, because we've been gain matching our plugins as we went. So just by way of comparison, I'm going to turn off all this compression and just listen to the vocal with and without it, and we'll see what we've come up with.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city.
It's huge how big of a difference compression makes. That some people are just either scared to do it or they do too much work with a single compressor. No hard and fast rules is how I've achieved some of these sounds, and I like these sounds. One other thing, I'll show you another free plugin to deal with. Since I took away that high shelf, there's a free plugin out there called Air from DanielRothman.com. So cool. This is basically that. It's just adding this high-end saturation stuff. I almost never change the settings. The default settings are great. So you just turn up the air knob and listen to what happens.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free.
So obviously that was way too much, but I wanted to give you the effect. So let's just dial in a little bit and get a little bit of air, a little bit of sheen on the top of this.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city.
And one more, we'll copy this de-esser and drop this de-esser down here since we're adding up some of those frequencies just to hit these S's.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city.
Much better. All right, here. So we've gotten through our foundation here. I've done it all on the vocal bus. Haven't had to do anything to individual tracks yet. Just like everything else, we've gone on our bus and calmed down. Now, I know this seems like a lot that's going on compared to some other things, but your vocals are impressive. Work hard to get them to sound good. And we just did a little subtractive EQ, compress, DS, compress, dynamic compression on the EQ, compress, DS, and just add a little top shelf. So it's not a lot. It just seems like a lot because we've divided it up over so many instances of these plugins. All right. So let's listen. We'll turn them off, turn them on, and just kind of see how this vocal jumps out to the front. You can hear all the nooks and crannies of the vocal, like the T's and the P's and the breaths, and it's a more lively vocal. So check it out.
Trusting in what you can't see. Take my lead, I'll set you free. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city. I'll make it through. Follow me, set me free. Trust me and we will escape from the city.
Just want it to be aggressive. It's a rock song. It's a good rock song, good performance. That's going to be it for this video. Just want to get this vocal mixing foundation, your compression, EQ, and a couple of other small things you can do with your vocals. Next time we're going to keep going with this. We'll do our effects. We'll do some other tricks that I have for beefing up vocals to get them to punch in better, to thicken them up. And we'll get into using this parallel compression chain for vocals that we set up way back in episode 1. Thanks again for hanging out. You guys have been awesome. Keep subscribing if you found this useful. Hit the notification bell because I put up at least one video a week. And head over to TreyMixes.com. Get your saturation book. And thanks very much. Comment, share, do all those great things. I hope you have a great week, great day, and see y'all later.